Hi guys, this is Gurneet. In today's video, we are going to explore some techniques that are used in data analysis using SQL. So let's get started. Now, before moving forward and discussing those techniques, let's first understand what is data analysis. So data analysis is the process of accessing, cleaning, and analyzing data that is stored in a database. So its goal is to identify useful information and support decision making. Now, the reason we use SQL for data analysis is because first, that it's quite easier to understand, so it makes it a very user-friendly language. Then it's quite fast at query processing and it helps in retrieving big data from multiple databases efficiently. Now, moving forward to discuss what is the database that we are going to use today. So the database we are going to use is Northwind Traders database. So it's a sales data for a company called Northwind Traders, which imports and exports foods from around the world. So looking at the database, you can see that it has 5 tables: supplier, customer, product, order item, and order. So it has primary keys in ID, which means that it uniquely identifies the row. So as you can see that in supplier, we have an ID, which is a primary key. Then same in all those tables, you can see in front of ID, in all these tables, you can see that in front of ID, we have a primary key declared. So that means it uniquely identifies the column. Now, let's go ahead and create this database in our SQL server. Now, as we discussed earlier, that we have 5 tables in total: customer, supplier, product, order, and order item. So one by one, we are going to create the tables and insert values in it. So our first table is table customer and we'll insert the values. So let me just go ahead and execute this statement, this query. So in this query also, you can see that I have written create table, table name customer, and the primary key, which is ID, and I have declared it in my end constraint, then the ID name and the primary key, right? And you all know the syntax for first name, last name, city, right? All are varchar. So let me just execute, and it says that commands completed successfully. Now let me just go ahead and insert those values as well, right? And then we'll verify whether the table has been created and values has been inserted or not. So, right now, let me just execute it. So you can see that all the rows has been filled out, which means that the table has been created. So let me just verify this. So select star from, the table name is customer, right? Now, so let me execute it. So as you can see that I have ID, first name, last name, city, country, and the phone number. So I have total of 91 rows in my table customer, right? Now let's just create another table R, which is supplier. So let me execute it, right? It has been executed. Now we'll quickly insert those values as well. So let's just execute it. So it has said that, and we'll check also. It's very important to verify it. Select star from, what is the table name this time? Supplier. So it already gave me the suggestion. So let me just execute. So you can see that in a supplier table, we have an ID, we have a company name, contact name, right? The contact title, which has the null values, the city, country, phone, and the fax, right? Now let's just create our product table as well. So let me execute it. So it has been created. Let's just insert these values in our product table, and then again we'll verify. So select star from product and execute it. So we have a product name, right? The supplier ID, then we have a unit price, the package, and is discontinued, whether it has discontinued or not, right? And we have 78 rows in this. Then our table order, again, let me create it, right? And let's just insert values. This table has quite a lot of values in it. So let's execute it. So it has taken all the values, right? Now we'll also create the table order item, right? So the order item table has also been created and we'll insert values. So I'll write insert into and let's execute it. So the table has been created. We'll write select in asterisk from order and we'll execute it. So you can see that we have total of 2000 values in our order item table. Let's also see our order table. So you can see in our order table, we have ID, order date, order number, customer ID, and total amount. So it has total of 830 rows, right? And it has the date. So as it's clear, now we'll move to our techniques. Now, coming to our first technique, which is counting rows and items. So, the count function is used to count the number of rows that are returned in a select statement, while a distinct function is used when a table which has a lot of duplicate values. So, to avoid that, a distinct function is used. What it does is, it is used to return only the different values in a table. Now, let's go ahead and use this technique in our tables that we just created using some problem statements. So in this technique, we have three problem statements to solve. So first is to get the total number of customers. Then we need to list all the French customer cities. And the third problem statement, which is find the number of unique supplier countries. So let's go ahead and first solve our first problem statement. So in order to get the total number of customers, what we'll do is we'll select, then we'll use the count function, count, and in brackets which uh, we will be using ID, right? So ID, because we need the total number of customers. So which one was the uniquely identified row? The ID, and we will be naming it select count as customer count. We'll write down customer count, right? Now which table are we going to use here? From customers, right? So let's just go ahead and execute it. So it has given me the customer count as 91. Now moving to our second problem statement, which is now we need to list all the French customer cities, right? Again, we are going to use the customer table. So again, we'll write select. Then what we need to select? We are going now we just need the French customer cities, right? So in this, we are going to use the distinct function. So we'll write down distinct, distinct, distinct. and we want city, right? So city, then enter from customer. We need the unique value. So from customer, and we need the French one, right? So where city, where so okay, so we need the country, right? So country is equal to France. Now let me just, so it's we do not read any duplicate values in this one. So it has given me the Lily, these are the cities that are there in France, right? Now we can also use distinct and count together. So this is our third problem statement. We need to find the number of unique suppliers. So we need to find the number of unique means the count, and the unique, which means the different values. So that is distinct. So we will write select. So which table are we going to use in this one? That is suppliers. So we'll write down count of what? The distinct. So we need to have the find the number of unique supplier countries, right? So the count will be for distinct country, right? We need the unique values. So distinct country, right? Distinct country, as we can name it number from the table suppliers, right? Now let's go ahead. Okay, supplier. So let me just execute it and let's see what will be the result. So it's clear, right? The count, which means the number of supplier countries. So we are using count on our country. But they said that we need the unique supplier. So in that case, we are going to use the different values. We don't want to duplicate it, right? We don't want duplicate values. So let me just execute. So it has given me 16 countries for the we have 16 supplier countries, right? So I hope the first technique is clear. Coming up to our next technique in data analysis, which is aggregation functions. So we have three aggregation functions. First, sum, which is used to calculate the sum of all the values or the distinct values in a expression. Then we have an average, which is used to calculate the average value in an expression. Then lastly, standard deviation. Now, standard deviation measures the number of variations or dispersion on a set of value relative to the mean or the average. Now, if the standard deviation in a data set is high, that means the data points are quite far from the average. Now, let's discuss these aggregation functions in using a data set in SQL. Now, let's understand these aggregate functions using our three problem statements. First is to calculate the total sales in 2013. Then we need to calculate the average size of all the orders. And lastly, calculate the standard deviation of all orders. So first, let's calculate the total sales. So for that, what we'll do, we'll sum, select sum on of what? We'll be selecting sum of the total amount, right? So total, we have to calculate total amount as as we can say total sales, right? Total sales from the table from, so we are using orders table in this one, right? Order, right? Now we have a condition, as you can see, where Now, the condition says that the order date should be 2013, right? So what I'll do is I'll say where we need to extract the year, right? Year function from the date, right? So order date is equal to, which is 2013, right? Now let's execute and see what all total sales we had. So it says these were the total sales in the 2013, right? Now coming to our second problem statement, which is we need to calculate the average size of all the orders, right? So now again, what we'll do, we'll write select, and we need to calculate the average. So we'll write down average bracket, and now average size of all the orders. So again, total amount of, as we'll write down average sales, right? We can say average, so orders, sorry, from table name, right? And we don't really have a condition, so we'll just execute it. So as you can see, it has given me the average, which is 1631, right? Now our next is we need to calculate the standard deviation. So we'll calculate select standard deviation, and then in the standard deviation we will see the total amount. We'll write down here. So total amount, as we'll write down standard deviation of orders, right? So from the table, now let's go ahead and execute it. So as you can see that the standard deviation is higher. So it means that the data points are far away from the average. So I hope that the second technique is clear. Coming up to our third technique, which is extreme value identification. So we have two functions in this, minimum and maximum. So max function is used to calculate the maximum value in a column of a table, and minimum function is used to calculate the minimum value in a column of a table. Now let's understand this using our problem statement in SQL. Now we'll understand this technique using a data set. So we have two problem statements. First, we need to find the cheapest product from our table product. Now, and then we have to find the largest order placed in 2014. So we'll be using orders table. So let's first find out the cheapest product. So we'll select minimum and then the value. So it says the minimum cheapest product, right? So what we'll use, the unit price. Unit price as cheapest price. So we need to find the cheapest product, right? So we'll cheapest price or product, we can say, right? From which table? Products. So we don't really have any condition here. We just need to find out the cheapest product. So let's execute it. And the cheapest product is 2.50, right? The price of the cheapest product is 2.50. Now we will discuss the second problem statement, which we need to find the largest order placed in 2014. So we have a condition that means we only want the largest order in the year 2014. So we'll write down select Now the largest means we'll be using max function, right? And in the brackets, now we need to find out the largest order, right? So in the brackets, we'll write down the total amount as, so what we'll name it, the largest order, right? Largest. So from the table, which table? From, right? Now the third thing, the condition is where, we need to find out where year function, right? From which order date, right? Which is 2014. Now let's execute this and see. So as you can see, the largest order in 2014 was 1,72,000. No, it's, so it's 17,250, right? So I hope the third technique is also clear. Coming to our fourth technique, which is slicing data. So this technique is used to retrieve data based on some kind of condition. That means you present this technique helps you to present the information in a quite different and useful manner based on certain condition. Now, this technique uses some functions like in and between, that all depends on the condition that you are given. Now, let's understand this technique using a data set, and it will be more clear. Now, looking at this technique, you can see that we are given four problem statements, and all of these are the conditions, and we will slice our data according to that. So, our first condition says list all the suppliers from the USA, UK, or Japan. So that means in our supplier data, in our table, we want all the suppliers that are from USA, UK, or Japan. So let's see how are we going to solve this. So what we'll do is I'll write down select. So I want my um, select. So I want my all my columns. So I'll write down ID. I want the supplier ID, right? Then the company name, right? Hmm. City, then country, right? So this is our supplier table values, right? From the table name, customer. From, so from a customer table, I want the names, right? So I'm writing down the customer. Now, sorry, not the customer, sorry, the supplier. So I want this from our supplier, right? Now, the condition says that, as per the condition, it says that I want the suppliers from USA, UK, or Japan. Now, I cannot include multiple equals to, right? From supplier where country is this. So for that, this is where the slicing data comes in use. So I'll write down where country. So I cannot use equals to and then I'll write down. So instead of that, what I'll use, in in function, and in my brackets I'll mention the names. So we have U USA, right? Then I have UK or Japan, right? Right. So looking at the syntax, I have mentioned all the names. I want ID, company name, the city, and the country. From supplier, now where country? In USA, UK, or Japan. So I'll get all the suppliers from these countries, right? Now let's just go ahead and execute it and see. So I'll just include the comma. So as you can see that the countries which they gave us only include UK, USA, Japan, right? So this is the condition. It has sliced the data. It has presented you the information using the condition saying that the suppliers that we want is from UK, USA, or Japan, right? Now coming to a second problem statement which says list all the customers that are from the same countries from where the suppliers are. That means that we want the customer table as well as the supplier table, right? So how are we going to solve this problem statement? So what we'll do, we'll select ID, right? The first name, comma, last name, comma, the country from customer, right? Now list all the customers that are from the same countries. So now where, I'll use where, country, in, again, where. So I have listed all my customers from my customer table. Now they are saying that we need all the customers from the same country as the suppliers are. So I'll use the condition in, and I'll again use a bracket, and in my bracket I'll write down select. So I want to select the country from suppliers, right? So that means I have included my other table which is supplier in my in condition, right? So let's execute it and see. So as you can see that it has given me the same country as the supplier have, right? So it has the ID first, fourth, and the first name, last name, and the country, right? So I hope the second problem statement is clear as well. Jumping to our third problem statement, which says that now we need to list the products between, there's a range mentioned here in the condition. So it says that list all the products between $10 and $20. So which table are we going to use here? Which is products, right? Now what I'll do, I'll write down select ID, right? Then I want the product name, comma. Then I want the unit price, right? These are the columns that we need. Now from the table, which table? From product. Then the condition says that there is a range in this one. So how are we going to say? We are saying where condition, where unit price is between. So we are going to use the function between. So I'll mention between 10 and 20, right? Let's execute this. So you can see that the range of the prices are between 10 and 20 only. They are not exceeding the 20, and it's not also below 10. So I hope this problem statement is also clear. Now coming to our last problem statement, which is get the total number of orders and total amount between. So we need to first we need to get the we need to retrieve the number of orders, right? So the number of orders meaning count of the orders and the total amount sold between this date till this date. So again, we are going to use the between function, right? So select first, we are going to select count of what? The ID, right? As, so we can name it as count, count only, right? Now, second thing we need to select is the, so it is telling me the total amount, which means I need to calculate the sum, right? So the sum of what? Total amount. So sum as the total sales. So it's asking me the total amount sold between, right? So we need the total sales. So again, we'll be calculating using sum total sales, right? From what table are we going to use this? From order, right? And any condition, of course, we need to select it between a particular range of dates. So we are going to write where order date lies between. So let's mention, so the date says first Jan, right? So first 2013, and again between 31st. So in the month of January. So first 31 2013, right? Till this point it's clear. So let me just execute. So as you can see that the count is how many number of orders? That means 33 number of orders, and the total sales was this. So it's 66,692 and the total number of orders were 33. So I hope that this technique is also clear. Coming to our fifth technique, which is limiting data. Now considering that you have a data set consisting of millions of records and you want to retrieve a certain set of records, now that you can perform using two functions. First, top, which is used to retrieve a certain set of records in a data set, while offset on the other hand is used to eliminate a certain set of records in a data set. Now we'll understand this more clearly using an example in SQL. Now, coming to our data set, we can see that we have two problem statements. First says that list the top 5 orders in the year 2014, and second says list all but the 10 of the most expensive products. So now this we can perform using first list the top 5 orders in 2014. So that what we'll do first, I'll show you select star from products from orders, and the condition is where order date is equal to 2014. So let's go ahead and check how many records are going to retrieve. So you can see that the records that are retrieved are 270, right? So now instead, but we just want the top 5, right? So what we'll do, we'll just write down top 5 here, and now if I execute this, it has given me the first 5 records. That means it has fetched me the first 5 records, right? Now, if I want just the 10 if I want all the expensive products excluding the 10 rows, right? So the problem statement, the query for this will be select ID, comma, product name, comma, comma, unit price, then the package, right? From the table name, product, and so we want the most expensive, right? So I'll give an order by unit price in descending. So first, let me just execute this query and we'll see how many rows are going to get retrieved. So you can see that the total of the rows are 78, right? Now you can see from first to 10, if you give, if you see, so you'll see that we have 38, 29, 9, 20, and the 11th record is 27. Now pay attention to the first 10 records. Now if I use offset 10 rows. So let's see what happens. So let me execute it. So now you can see that the total set of records that it retrieved was 68, and it eliminated the first 10 rows. So as you can see, the first row now is with the ID 27, right? So I hope that the fifth technique is also clear. Now coming up to our sixth technique, which is sorting data. So sorting data is nothing but rearranging the data or the query result into a specified manner. Now the function that we use here is order by. So this function can sort the data into ascending or descending order and can be performed on single as well as multiple columns. So now let's understand this function using an example in SQL Server. Now we are going to solve this function using three problem statements. First, list all the suppliers in an alphabetical order, and then list all the suppliers in a reverse alphabetical order. And then the third problem statement, which says that we need to list all the suppliers in these specified countries, order by the city, and then the company name in reverse order. So let's first solve our first problem statement. So we'll write down, so we'll write select ID, comma, from a suppliers table, ID, the company name, then contact name, city, comma, country, right? And from supplier, then now we need to, right? So we need to um, sort the data by alphabetical order, right? So order by company name. Now, since it's an ascending order, we won't be mentioning it ascending. So let's just execute this query. So as you can see that the company name has been sorted in an alphabetical order. That means it's in an ascending order, right? Now, let's perform it in a reverse alphabetical order. So the same query, but in our order by company name, I'll just mention descending order. So if I execute it, so you can see that it has sorted the data in the reverse order. Now, coming to a third problem statement. So it involves multiple, uh, it involves sorting the data into multiple columns. So now what we'll do, we'll select, So we need the suppliers in the countries USA, Japan, and Germany. Then we want to order like sort the data by city in ascending order, then by the company name in descending order. So we'll select first we'll select again the same, select ID, comma, company name, contact name, city, and the country. From table name, now now it says that the country where we want to retrieve the data from is USA, Japan, and Germany. And for that, we'll be using the function in, which we discussed earlier as well, right? So where supplier in, and in the brackets, I'll mention the names, USA, comma, Japan, comma, Germany. And then we'll use order by. So first I want the order by as order by country, right? So country, and here I have to mention ascending, and then I want the company name as descending. So let's go ahead and execute it. So now you can see that it has only given me the data for, so first it has, yeah, so it has given me the data for Germany, Japan, and USA, and the city is in the, yeah, so the country is in ascending order, while the company name is in descending order. So I hope this technique is clear as well. Now coming up to our seventh technique, which is filtering patterns. This is one of the most important and powerful feature of a database, which is the ability to filter data. It means to specify only those records which match a certain criteria, and the function that we use here is like operator. So it determines if a string matches a certain pattern. And the wildcard characters that we use are percentage and an underscore. So percentage is used when it matches any string with a 0 and more characters, while an underscore is used when it matches any string with a single character. And this like operator is only used when only fragment of text is known. So now let's understand this technique using our SQL server. Now, looking at the problem statement, we will be solving this problem statement using like operator, right? So we'll be filtering the data. So our first problem statement says that we need to list all the products that are packaged in jars, right? So the solution for the query for that will be select. First, I'm going to show you the product table, product, and let me just execute it. So you can see that it has ID, product name, supplier ID, unit price, package, and is discontinued. So these are the values. Now the problem statement says that we need to list all the products that are packaged in jars, right? So in the package, I want the values with the jars, right? So that I can do. So here I can write where package like. Now what is the package? Since I want more than one character, I'll be using a percentage, then jars, again a percentage. And if I execute this, you can see that it has given me the all the values which has jars, right? Now, coming to our next problem statement, it says list all the products with names that start with CA, right? So I want all the products whose name starts with CA. So again, it will go select ID, I want the product name, comma, then the unit price, right? The package. And from the table name, product. Now it says that whose name start with CA. So where product name, then the like operator. Now we will write here CA, then the percentage, because it can be more than one character. We want more than one character here. So if I execute this, you can see that it has given me two values whose names start with CA, right? Now I want, yeah. So now I want, the third problem statement says, list all the products that start with CHA or CHAN, right? So my problem statement will go like select, again, ID. I'll just copy paste this, right? And now the only difference here is that I now just want one more character. After CHA, I just want have one more character, which means just one character I need, the next character. So that I will get using the underscore, as I discussed, the modular operator underscore, right? So I'll write down where product name like, so here CHA, then underscore. Now I have two values, so I'll use the OR operator again, or product name, again like CHAN, then the underscore. So let's go ahead and execute this. Execute. So now it has given me the two products, right? So I hope this like operator and the filtering patterns technique is clear. Now coming up to our eighth technique, which is groupings, rolling up data and filtering in groups, and they use two functions, that is group by and having. Group by function groups records into summary rows and return one record for each group. And it is used in with aggregate functions like count, sum, average, etc. And then we have a having clause which require a group by function to be present with it. And what it does is, it is just like a where clause, but it only operates on grouped data. So now let's discuss group by and having using an example in SQL Server. Now, the problem statement for the eighth technique is list the number of customers in each country sorted high to low. So to solve this query, what we'll do, so the table that we'll be using is customer table. So we'll say select. Now we need to select the number of customers in each country, right? So what we'll do, select country, then count. So now we need to count, we will be counting the ID, right? We need the number of customers. So as customers, select from, what is the table name? Customer. Then we have, then we'll use group by country. So it will summarize it by country. So if I execute this, as you can see, the country, and it has given me the, for the country Argentina, it has given me the customers 3. For Austria, 2. Belgium, 2. Brazil, 9. And like this, it has given me for every country the count of the customers. Right? Now, coming up to our second problem statement, which says list the number of customers in each country, but only include countries with more than 10 customers. Now, for this particular problem statement, we'll say select. Now we need to select the number of customers, right? So, okay, now in this statement, it is saying sorted. We just calculated this, list the number of customers in each country, but we didn't look at sorted from high to low. So for that, what we'll use is order by count ID, right? Order by count ID and in descending. So if I execute this, so you can see that it has given me the customers with the descending order, right? So it's very important to understand the problem statement, because in the previous in the statement we just you know, retrieved the result of the number of customers in each country, but we ignored the sorted from high to low. So it's very important to understand the problem statement and look at it carefully, right? Now, in this one, we need to list the number of customers in each country, but we need to only include countries with more than, only include countries with more than 10 customers, right? So a country with less than 10 should not be included. So I'll write select, and then, so we'll say select country, comma, we'll say country, yes, country, again, count of ID, right? We can copy also, but I'll write down customers from customer, and then we'll say group by country, country, and then in that it sets sorted high to low, but in this one it says it should only include countries with more than 10 customers. So we'll say having count more than 10, right? So if I execute this, it has given me only the countries whose customers are more than 10. So the one which are less, they have been excluded, right? Now, coming to our next problem statement, it says list all the countries with more than 2 suppliers. So again, in this statement, what we'll do, select, this is from the table suppliers, select. So we can say select country, right? Then count ID. Okay. Then we'll count the ID, count ID as suppliers from table supplier, right? Now with more than 2, so having count of ID greater than 2, right? So if I first, let me just execute this one. Okay, we haven't written group by country. right? So if I just execute this part, so it will give me suppliers for every country, right? But if I execute using having, so it will just give me the count suppliers which are more than two. For the country France, we have three suppliers, for Germany three, and for USA four, which means they are more than, the count is more than two, right? So I hope the group by and having clause is also clear, and our eighth technique is also clear. Now coming up to our last technique, which is joins. So a join clause, what it does is it is used to combine two or more tables together on the basis of a matching value or a column between them. So a query can contain a single join operation or multiple join operations. So we have different types of joins: inner join, left join, right join, and full outer join. So inner join, what it does is it combines two tables together on the basis of a matching value. Then we have a left join. So left join performs joins on the left table, and it includes all the matching values from the right table. While in the right join, what happens is it performs join on the right table, and the matching records from the left table are included. And in the full outer join, it returns it combines both the records without any matching value, and the values which has no match, which it returns the null value, a null column, right? So now let's discuss these joins using SQL Server, in our SQL Server, using some problem statements. So, as I discussed earlier, we have four different types of join: inner join, left join, right join, and full outer join. So, I have a problem statement for each of the join. So, in inner join, list all the orders with customer information. So, we have orders and customers. So, we will be joining the table order and customer. So, its query goes like select. So, what is that we need to select? Select order number. Then we'll select total amount, right? Then order number, total amount, first name, last name, then city and country. City, comma, country, right? Now this is from the table of orders, right? From order, right? Now from order, right? Now we can name it O, right? And we'll write down join, right? Join, then customer C on. So we after on we will write down what are the on what basis are we joining them. That means the matching value, right? So in that we'll write down on C dot ID is equals to O dot ID, or we can say customer ID, right? So if I execute this query, you can see that it has combined. So let me just show you first, it will be more clear. If I just show you select star from, right? So if I just show you the order table, so it has ID, order date, order number, customer ID, and total amount, right? And if I show you the customer table, so you can see it has ID, first name, last name, city, country, and phone. So I have taken from the customer. So no. So what is happening? What attributes that I need are order number, from order table, total amount from again the order table, then the first name, last name, city and country from my customer table, right? Now I have selected my attributes and then I'll say from order table O, and I am joining my customer table C on what basis? On the ID basis. So the C dot ID and order dot customer ID, and then if I execute it, you can see the difference that it has combined. So we have order number, total amount, first name, last name, city and country. So this is my combined joined table, the customer and the order table, right? Now we'll discuss the left join. So the problem statement is list all the customers and the total amount they spend irrespective whether they placed any order or not. So we are discussing customers and the order table, right? Again, customer and order table. So here what we'll do is, what all we need to select again. So, okay. So we'll select order number again, then the total amount, right? First name, last name. So we need the list of the customers, right? City and country. City, comma, country, right? Now from the table, what? So what all tables are we joining from? Customers, and we'll write down C. And now we are left joining it, right? So we will be writing left join order on what basis? On O dot customer ID, O dot customer ID is equals to C dot ID, right? And so we can also write down order by, so I'll be ordering, I want a order, so I'll write down total amount. So it will give me a ascending order. It will sort the data. So now you can see that it has given me the null values. So before this, let me just uh, select star from customer, right? So I am left joining. So if I look at my customer table, right? So the left part, so this is the left join, right? So it will give me the values from, so the left part, as you can see after the ID. And if I say about the order, let me just show you order as well, right? So you can see that we have ID, order date, order number, customer ID, and total amount. So this is my left. So I'm performing left join on order, right? So the what is the matching value? ID, right? So the matching value here is ID. So it's taking order number, total amount, and first name, last name, city, and country, right? So it will give me, so it is performing, see, so it's giving me order number from the order table, which is the left join. So if I perform this, you can see that in order number, with the first name this, it's giving me a null value, right? Because the values did not match. So you can take a look at it. So it has given me the null values only in these first name and Diego and Mary, right? So it has formed the left join. Now coming up to our right join. So it is saying list the customers that have not placed orders, right? So they want us to list the customer that have not placed any orders. So I'll be performing right join on that. So I'll select first name, comma, last name, right? Then city, country, total amount, right? From the table, order and O, and right join which table? Customer. C on what value? O dot customer ID is equal to C dot ID, right? Now it says that they do not have, we want the list of the customers that have not placed any orders, right? So where the total amount is null, right? Now if I execute this, it has given me only these two people, they have not ordered anything. So that is the reason that it was giving us the null value, because in the previous one, because it said irrespective of whether they have placed any orders or not. So that is the reason we got null values in this one. Order number null and the total amount null, because they did not place any order, right? And it has taken the values from the order number and total amount from the order, and the first name last name from the customer, right? Again, I hope the right join is also clear. So it has given me the values of the people of the people who have, or the customers who have not placed any order, right? Now coming up to our last join, which is the outer join. Now they want us to match all the customers and suppliers by the country. So what we'll do is we'll select C dot, from the customer table I want to select my first name, right? Then C dot last name, then C dot country, from the customer table I'll select country, comma, then as we can name it also if you want as customer country, right? Then customer country. After that, we want from a supplier, we can write down S dot. So we want all our customers, right? So S dot country, comma. So match all the by country. So we want to match them, right? So that is the reason that we are taking C dot country and S dot country, right? As custom at supplier country, as liar country, comma. Then after that, what we need? S dot company name, right? Company name from, now where we'll be doing from customer C, then from customer C, and we'll write down full join its supplier S. On what basis are we joining it? We just have to write down that. So C dot country, right, and is equal to S dot country, right? So the order will be, it will be dividing it into a group, right? So order by, so first is the C dot country, comma S dot country, right? Now let me just execute this. So now you can see that the values that did not even match, it gave me a null value, as I had said in my definition also, that the full outer join, if there are any, there are no matched records, it will throw us a null value, right? So as you can see that the supplier country and the company name, the customer country and supplier country, and the custom company name also, right? So I hope that the all these types of join are clear now. Thanks for watching. We'll come up with more videos on tips and tricks around Excel, which can help you in your interviews and advance your learning. So stay tuned and keep following for more.